Well, here I am at the most coveted railfan spot in Toronto, the Bathurst Street Bridge. Now this is the Kitchener train. Shoved by a powerful MP54 AC. You can see the spectacular Toronto skyline dominated by the CN Tower. You can see the Rogers Center in red letters right underneath it. That's where the American League East Division Toronto Blue Jays, leaders in the American League East, play, but they're on the road right now. They creamed Detroit last night 11-4 down the Great Lakes a little ways in Detroit. Sun angle here is great for westbounds. The only problem is all the GO trains will have cab cars on the front. This guy's going out on old Canadian Pacific trackage. He's heading out to Milton. It's on the Gold Sub, main line out to Campbellville and Guelph Junction. Hopefully I'll get an F-59 here somewhere. They run a few of them. In fact, they just acquired several from Metrolink. It's hard to keep track of the inbounds. Oh, here comes the Union Pearson Express train. I'll take a ride on him later. Shot-bound GO right behind them. Man, those DMUs sound pretty neat. It is an MP40 with a famous number, 611. Well, we have a Via Rail Siemens set coming in. I'm betting he's coming from Windsor. There was a derailment in Paris, and trains were being rerouted off its normal route onto the route via St. Mary's and Stratford. to the west. The tracks going off to the left head down towards Oakville, Hamilton. Amtrak uses it, or I should say Via Rail uses it to Niagara Falls, and then New York. To the right, you have trains going to Georgetown, Barrie, Milton, Kitchener. That's become quite a busy line, as well as Via Rail trains that are being rerouted today. 438, here comes an inbound express train from Pearson Airport to Union Station. Oh, here comes a train bound for Oakville on the Lakeshore route. Well, here's a late 434 to Georgetown. Right behind him, we should have the 438 to Barrie, the waterfront, Allendale waterfront, and then a Milton train behind him. 445, here comes a train in from Aldershot, at least from there. Right behind him is another set of equipment. He might have came out of the Willowbrook facility or Mimico facility. This is one busy place. Train on the right is heading for Allendale Waterfront and Barrie. There's the 440 to Milton. That's brute force at work there, 12 cars with 5,400 horsepower. Here comes another Airport Express. They leave every 15 minutes out of Union. They run up the line that the Milton and the Kitchener trains take. Stops at Bloor and Weston, and then it veers off on its own branch to the airport. Lester Pearson is a former Prime Minister of Canada and a former Canadian ambassador to the U.S. Here's an inbound train from the Lakeshore at 4:52. It's really hard to keep track of these trains because I know they run equipment moves out of the Mimico Willowbrook facility. So he's headed for Hamilton. Followed by a Kitchener and then a Milton. 4:55, here's the Kitchener bound train with one of the older cab cars. Headed from Milton. Got a specially wrapped car on this train. Got to see a couple of wrapped cars. They look sharp. Now here's one of those rare birds, the F-59PH. Looks great. Sounds great. Let's take a walk past this thing, listen to it. How's this for a perch? As a UP Express arrives from Pearson Airport with those Nippon Sharyo DMUs right beneath the CN Tower here. I'm getting dizzy. Well, we have two GO trains arriving Toronto simultaneously, pretty much. This train is coming down from Allendale Waterfront in Barrie, Ontario, and hot on his heels is a train from West Harbour in Hamilton. if he's going to New York with that, he won't have that tomorrow. Whatever he comes up with tonight, that's what he'll have tomorrow.
Because that's what I was like, oh, should I go? Should I not go? And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll still go see it.
Well, there goes the 9:45 a.m. UP Express to Pearson Airport. It's got the UP on the front. Don't confuse it with the Union Pacific. These diesel multiple units are built by Nippon Sharyo. They're manufactured in Japan and assembled in Rochelle, Illinois, a famous Railfan hotspot. These trains run to the airport every 15 minutes, and the service is operated by Metrolinx, as is Go Transit. This location is just east of the old John Street Tower. Well, here's the 947 to West Harbor in Hamilton. I had a choice coming here. I could either watch an F-59 PH pull out from Mount Joy at 10 o'clock. So why am I not there? It's because the Canadian, who runs twice a week, Transcontinental, departs at 9:55. I would have been hung up on my toenails if I had passed that up. In the background is going to Mount Pleasant, and there's an inbound train from the airport. Mount Pleasant is on the goal line to Kitchener, and outside of Kitchener, not too far away, my Toronto Maple Leafs hero was born in the little town of St. Jacobs. Number 27, Darryl Sittler. We have a GO train for Aurora, and the Canadian is pulling out. He's ringing those stinking Salvation Army bells. Yeah, the Canadian is shoving off on his 2,900-mile journey to Vancouver, British Columbia. I was lucky enough to catch it as it only runs on Wednesdays and Sundays out of here. And that high-pitched bell, I don't know who invented that for locomotives, but he should be shot. Salvation Army bells. You hear them ringing the bells on the street around Christmas time over that little kettle. That's exactly what they sound like. One of my favorite locomotives on the Long Island Railroad, DM30AC number 518, has a superb K5 LA horn. It's just brilliant. But at one time it had one of those stinking Salvation Army bells. Happily they took it off and they have a more traditional electronic bell in it. Goes the Canadian to Vancouver with two F-40s. And he's got that. Stop ringing that bell, damn it. Thank you. now that that Salvation Army Bell insanity is over, let's enjoy these engines in this huge passenger train. The last three cars on this train with the brown striping, this is prestige class. This is for the rich and famous. Huge sleeping compartments, personalized service, large picture windows. It's costs a lot of moolah. It was great to see this classic train as it's been in service since 1955. What a catch. You'll be in Vancouver Thursday morning. There'll be a lot of smoke stops along the way. It's great to catch this. Here's a train coming in bound for Oshawa with one of the MP54 ACs, 5,400 horsepower. Oh, I love the paint scheme on that locomotive in the first car and several others. That's the Metrolink scheme. Oh, it looks so much better than the original scheme. Via Rail Train 70 should be coming in from Windsor shortly. I tell you, when the Canadian departed, he was ringing that Salvation Army bell. I was like, stop. There was a young rail fan here taking video also, and he loves those bells. And I told him all about the Salvation Army and everything, and you know, I'm very outspoken. If I like something, I'll tell you. If I don't like something, I'll tell you. But, you know, you're more than free to disagree with me. People don't like the K5LLA horns and they hate the Union Pacific. What are you gonna do? There's the 10:15 to the airport. This is a fantastic perch at the west end of Toronto Union Station, but it's hot here, out in the sun completely. But some things you have to tolerate for good reason. 70 from Windsor, Ontario is coming in right on time at 10:17. Sounds like a GE. I've seen several F40s. The Canadian topped them all. The Canadian's out to get me with those Salvation Army belts. Now we're over by the John Street Roundhouse. It was an old Canadian Pacific Roundhouse. It's now the Canadian Railroad Heritage Site in Toronto. Although the museum isn't open until noon, you can still stroll the grounds and see what's laying around here. Look at this Canadian Pacific Baldwin. Looks great in it. That's my favorite Canadian Pacific paint scheme. Now here's a beautiful engine, one of the prettiest steam locomotives you'll ever see. A Canadian National Northern 484 built by the Montreal Locomotive Works. This is number 6213. A sister locomotive, the 6218, used to haul excursions until the early 70s. They were fast and really had nice, beautiful, deep-throated whistles. Well, you see all the multi-levels that are operating on GO Transit today? This is what GO Transit started out with, these Hawker Siddeley built single-level coaches. Here's a caboose from the Toronto, Hamilton, and Buffalo. CP had a controlling interest, so did the New York Central. And between them, it ran between Toronto, Hamilton, and Buffalo. Nice resplendent orange CN caboose. Serves all Canada, still does, from Nova Scotia to British Columbia. What an impressive skyline. I'm sure Engineer Bill would love to have some of that. And maybe some of that too. Nice CP heavyweight observation car. It's an old Alco, probably built by Montreal Locomotive Works. Is that an S1, an S2? Hey, we're back out at the east end of Toronto Union. We got 654 headed for Oshawa, Durham, and 616 just arrived from Oshawa, heading towards Oakville, Aldershot, and points beyond. 1118 arriving as a GO train from Mount Joy. He'll have an F-59 on the rear.